man power, black woman power, black child power. It's KLX, KingLeonX, UBVOA, the human liberator. This is another episode 36 of Take Charge of Your Life, Take Charge of Your Mind, Take Charge of Your Day, Take Charge of Your Mental Attitude. Once again, persistence will pay. All right, this is take four. Take four of the Take Charge of Your Life Self-Mastery Motivation series. Take one was at noon. My phone died 3 minutes in. I didn't believe that I delivered fully, so I deleted it. Take number two, got a phone call in the middle. Take number three, phone call in the middle. Take number four, any phone call that I get, unless it's, any phone call I get, I'm not going to answer. I'm getting this video off, getting this message out. All right, take charge of your life, take charge of your mind, your day, your mental attitude. This is your midday motivation from KingLeonX, the human liberator. And this week, so this is episode 36, and so this week we've been talking about assembling a pleasing personality. We've been talking about your personality is where you display your character. Your personality determines whether people are attracted to you or they shy away from you. Your personality is the number one thing that distinguishes you from all other people. Your personality is going to determine your success or failure in selling yourself through life. Your personality, is the trademark by which people recognize you. And you must begin, right? If self-mastery, if self-motivation, enlightenment, self-actualization is any of your aims, it's one of your aims, you must begin to see your personality as others see it, so you may improve upon it in the areas that are necessary. And so we've been here. Let me sit down. Let me see. Can y'all got me? All right, cool. So I might stand back up again if I get hyped. But anyway, listen, we've been talking about 30 different personality traits and characteristics, and every single one of those traits are under our control. The first four are mental attitude, flexibility of attitude, ability to control and direct the emotion of enthusiasm, and sincerity of purpose. Neither of these things can be faked. And so this week we've also been covering the negative. This is what we wanted to really cover, was the negative personality traits, because then this is self-examination. Here, I'm going to stand up again. I don't like how close I am. All right, we've been talking about negative personality traits, all right, which are 100% in our control. As we go over these things, okay, as we go over these things, then I want you to do an assessment on yourself. You feel me? I've already went through 1 through 10 earlier this week. I'm going to skim through these real quick. I'm not going to go into any explanation. I'm going to skim through these, and then I'm going to get through 10, 11, and 12. And then tomorrow we're going to start talking about self-discipline, and all next week we're going to be talking about self-discipline. All right? And so the 12 negative personality traits, the first one, which has the list, is break the habit of breaking in and running away with a conversation when others are speaking. Right? I'm guilty of it. You're guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. All right, and so it's to be aware that we do it when we do it, and to use our willpower to maintain our silence so we can be effective listeners. Therefore, we can receive what the person is actually saying and then respond accordingly. And I just did exactly what I said I wasn't going to do, which is explain and break these things down. You can check out the explanation of these things in earlier videos this week. The second negative personality trait is sarcasm. Right? Oftentimes people don't see sarcasm as a negative personality trait because they think it's funny, but oftentimes the funny guys, when it's not delivered tactfully, when it's not delivered in perfect time and place, the sarcasm is definitely a negative personality trait. A third negative personality trait is vanity expressed by words and actions. Vanity expressed by words and actions, or actions. The fourth negative personality trait, indifference in listening while others are speaking. Right? We have 2 ears to hear, right? 1 mouth to speak. You can't learn anything from hearing yourself talk. The fifth negative personality trait is insincere flattery. Man, if y'all need to watch the other video that I did about this, because insincere flattery is, oh my gosh, I don't want to go into it again. sixth negative personality trait is finding fault in the world at large. The sixth negative personality trait is finding fault in the world at large or people in general. The seventh negative personality trait is openly and directly challenging those who may not agree with you, where there's no reason, no obvious reason for doing so except for to be on the opposing side. So the people who just want to be on the opposing side and just love conflict and to be confrontational, for what though? The eighth negative personality trait or characteristic is volunteering unsolicited advice to others who haven't requested it. All right, because the thing about it is most people aren't even qualified to give advice. You see, this is why we don't Facebook our problems. We understand the concept of puking uphill. If you never heard of the concept of puking here, let me sit down again. If you never heard the concept of puking uphill, then I guess I can make a video on that another day. The ninth negative personality trait is speaking of one's personal problems. Speaking of one's personal problems, whining and complaining. Whining and complaining, blaming, griping, Bible word called murmuring. That will ace your future. My phone just said 10%. I believe I should still be straight. The ninth negative personality trait is speaking of one's personal problems. Like I said in episode 35, face your problems. Don't Facebook your problems. Face your problems. Don't Facebook your problems. I'm going to tell you what's happening. 95% of the people don't care, and the other 5% is glad that it's you. Okay? So, it's like people who always say, oh, this happened to me, this happened to me. Oh, they did this to me, they did this to me. Oh, well, shit. Well, get from behind me before they come back. You see? Anyway, the 10th negative personality trait, and this is where we're starting with fresh information, fresh content of the Take Charge of Your Life, is conveying superiority by using big words. That's the 10th negative personality trait. How often do we see this? It's a one thing to master the English language. It's one thing to have enough words to express yourself. But the 10th negative personality trait is conveying superiority by using and overusing big words. We must read, relate, and relax. Read, relax, relate to get on people's levels, meet people where they're at, and speak to them in a language in which they can understand and they can internalize. But let me go back to point 9 because I didn't give y'all a solution for that. Instead of speaking of your personal problems and whining and complaining, just ask people of themselves. Ask people about themselves. Ask people about their interests. You see, people love speaking about themselves and people love speaking about their interests. Turn your energies off of what you don't have and what you don't want and all these undesirable results and find the fascination in the interests of people. Find your peace in your mind and human servitude or whatever. Anyway, conveying the 10th negative personality trait is conveying superiority by using big words. Read, relate, and relax to get on people's level. Okay, the 11th negative personality trait is envy of those who are successful. Envy of those who are successful. That is the 11th negative personality trait, and this is rampant. This number 11. This is rampant. This is rampant in the lives of people who have not declared a definite major purpose. People who have not determined what's the purpose of their life. People who have not taken charge of their life. People that don't take charge of their day. People that the only schedule they go by is the one that their job gives them. How do you expect to be successful? How do you expect to be free? How do you expect to have any type of prosperity and abundance in your life if the only schedule you go by is the one that your job gives you? The whole purpose of your job is they hire you to do a task to increase their bottom line and get them to their goals. You know that, right? That's why they hire you. They hire you to do a task that's going to get them to their goals. And if you don't qualify, if you underperform, you were fired. All right? So A lot of people work harder on their jobs than they do on themselves. I'm here to tell you, you gotta work harder on yourself than you do on your job, just to survive. You feel me? Just to goddamn make it in the 21st century and beyond. Just to have the experience that you want to have, the experiences. Just to go to places that you want to go, to become the type of person that you must become